Next time you're found with your chin on the ground, a lot to be learned. So look around.
It's still Negro, homie.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
And we're here, guys.
Hey.
You gonna rap a song? No, you don't.
You don't want me to do that?
So I want to see if I can get another lyric out to y'all. See if y'all can figure this out.
Let's go.
Who got it last time?
KK.
KK. He got that shit early.
Make
too.
it easy for me.
So now here we are, right? We're driving around town, and I'm trying to contemplate where we gonna get down, right? I mean, old girl, she got me saying,
My.
I just wish that I can like sit here and pull this ride over right now and get this thing started. I'm telling her, like, I just want to do something like real freaky to her. But I don't think she heard me, right? Because you know what? I really want to do something real freaky.
Yeah,
to her.
Usher.
Yeah, Usher. What song is it?
Freaky.
No.
Something freaky to you. I don't think they.
I don't think you heard me. Nice and slow.
Nice and slow. Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to Socially Responsible Podcast. As you can see, I am Damien, aka Maverick the Devil's Advocate.
And your girl JB. And it's Kiki.
There we go. Thank y'all for joining in and tuning in to us. Let's see if I can get this call to action out of the way. Let's get that. Pa, pa, pa.
You are now connected to Socially Irresponsible, the podcast. That's IRSPNSBO. We are a social safe space geared to promote thought, growth, and community by having needed conversations that to some may seem a bit irresponsible. But no matter what side of the equation you reside, please make sure you like, share, and most importantly, comment to let your voice be heard. Your support will push all of our voices to a wider audience. Come join the movement by watching us live weekend evenings on YouTube. You can tap into our viral clips on Instagram and TikTok, or even listen to us wherever it is you stream your podcast. So just do our platform a solid and bless us with a subscription and or follow. Remember, guys, it's IRSPNSBL, and that's everywhere. And for all those that have been 10 toes down since day one, we appreciate you. Your support really helps us continue to make dope-ass content.
Yeah.
Make sure you please subscribe. Make sure you log in. If you need to find us, you look at the bottom. What is that? Bottom left-hand corner of your phone, your screen. It is at Irresponsible everywhere. That is YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, your mama house, wherever it's at. Irresponsible.
Your
You'll
daddy
find us.
house. Your grandma house.
You like grandma's?
Uncle house. Yes.
Really?
I loved going to my grandma's house.
What is that? What is that old woman? It's like a nephrophiliac lesbian or something like that. I don't know. That's like screwing dead people. I don't know. I just made that shit up.
Yeah. No, I like going to my grandma's house because she always have food. She always is clean. She always.
So what bullshit story that were y'all saying that you're gonna try to talk about? You said some story about some game night and
Story time.
are you think you're ready? Now if it's a bad story, they're gonna boo the shit out of you. So
No, it's a good story.
it's a good story.
I guess we can bounce it off of each other.
Yeah.
All right, you got what? 3 minutes? 2 minutes? Make
Can
this
you
out.
do
We're gonna
it
make this
quick?
out.
Want me to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
And I just, bounce.
If it's a bad story, we're gonna talk shit.
All right, y'all.
Story time.
Here we go.
Story time.
I'm going to tell the story. So, me and my girl JB, we went to a cookout, right? Well, we were outside. We were inside. It was too cold, but we went to a cookout. JB invited me. You know, the vibes were on point. We were chilling. Food was bomb. Shout out to you, Mo.
Yeah.
And, we
What's good,
sitting
Mo?
down playing games, and the vibes was on point. They had liquor, food, and vibes. So, we get to a point where everybody's like, come on, everybody put the chairs and the tables together. Let's all play a game. I forgot. What was the name of the game, JB? Do you remember?
No stranger.
No stranger. Yes. So the game, basically, the object of the game was,
And half of the party had already left at this point.
so it was
it was
about
like
like
the-
6 of us.
The exclusive VIP crowd was here.
Yeah, you can say
All right,
that.
go ahead.
Yup. There's about 6 of us playing the game. We're
Except for
playing the
one
game.
person.
Who?
Like spin the bottle. type game?
Exclusive.
Come on. Okay.
Okay, so the object of the game basically was you had to, it's strangers, we were all strangers pretty much to each other. And at the end of the game, you were no longer strangers because it was a deep game. And it had questions on there that asked you, like one of the questions that was asked was, what was your first impression of me? And, because I've never met anybody in there.
So they're all trying to get laid, basically.
No, wasn't that type of game.
It was a game that was meant to offend people, but in a way where we played it backwards, kind of. We played level 3, and that was the offensive part. The first one, I think the first level was pretty much like getting to know each other. The second one was you kind of comfortable, and the last one was meant to offend people. But we started at the last level, which was very offensive.
Very
So
offensive. We like that.
One of the
We like that game.
one of the questions that was asked from somebody was, what was your first impression of me? And I told you, we went around in a circle and everybody got to say what their first impression was of each other. And I told him what my first impression was of him. He got very offended.
What was your first impression? We want to hear the offensive shit.
Gay.
He looked gay. He looked zesty. Very zesty.
I see a lot of. Never mind. Go ahead.
He gave me zesty vibes from when I walked into the cookout, and he was angry that I said that, but the game was meant to offend people, I guess, because if you ask me what your first impression was and we're just strangers, and
How do you feel about him being gay?
He's not.
he's not gay. That was
actually
why
engaged.
he was upset. He's actually engaged to a woman, and his woman was not there. But so I just was
I
like,
mean, he
yeah,
could still be gay though.
he could, but to me, he says he wasn't. So anyways, further along into the game,
You like gay men?
no, they're great
It'll
friends,
be
and one of my closest people in my life is gay, so I won't speak on that. But he's
Anyway.
gay, and I love him.
My card was everybody has a calling. And do you think I found my calling?
What did you answer?
So we had to answer that.
Oh.
You pick up the card, and other people that are strangers to you have to answer. So,
All right,
But everybody, nobody was a stranger.
So the card that JB has is what is it?
It was everybody has a calling. Do you think I found my calling? However,
I answered.
Do you think she found her calling?
I answered and I said, no, I don't. And we went around the table and everybody's answer was basic. No, no, no. One girl in specific said to JB,
wait, pause right there.
Okay.
So everybody at the table knew me at a minimum of a year.
No, just say no preface, no excuses. Let's hear this first, and then you give your excuse. I don't laugh before you sit here and try to rationalize my laugh. Let's go.
So what happened was, I don't know anybody at the table but JB.
Okay.
But the question was, everybody has a calling. Do you think I found my calling? That was JB's question.
Yeah,
So we went around the table and I said, no. Mine was basic. No, I don't think you found your calling yet.
No,
Next
no,
person, no. And then this girl comes and she gives a detailed answer as to why JB does not have a calling.
What is
but
it?
her answer was along the lines of, she thinks that JB doesn't have her calling and she's stuck up, and
No, that's not the word she used.
basically
But that's
said
basically what it
JB
meant.
stuck up.
Okay.
And JB kind of felt away because she's like, you don't even know me. Like, what do you mean I'm stuck up?
You do come off kind of
All right,
stuck
go
up.
ahead,
He's
JB.
not telling the story properly. You
do.
Let me step in.
Wait, don't speak on that yet. Let her explain.
Okay.
So it came to her and she was like, what's the term she used that kind of mean you're fake? So I paused, I giggled, and I was like, I have a serious question. You only know me for 3 hours.
Oh, so you got defensive. You got to put your gloves on.
No, I was tactful. I'm a sweet person.
But you got to think though, everybody's answer was very vague,
Like,
and she
everybody-
was the only person that was detailed in her answer for somebody that hasn't known her
Okay,
for that
Everybody's
long.
like, everything you do, you're good at it, but we don't think it's your calling yet.
Yeah.
Right. So it got to her and she was like, no, I think you front. That was her answer. She was like, no, I don't think you found your calling. I think you front. I was like, okay.
You put on the front of who you are.
So I giggled and I was like, I really have a serious question. Out of 3 hours,
Okay.
what made you say that? And I'm a type of person, I don't know what I'm portraying. So in order for me to know, you have to tell me, right? I'm going to ask so I can fix it.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
So as you sit here and say, like, in 3 hours, a woman normally sits here and says that they'll know if they'll fuck with a dude, sleep with a guy, or wherever that guy's placement in their life is going to be within the first couple of moments. 3 hours, I
That's
feel.
the out appearance, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure if that makes sense, then wouldn't someone else in 3 hours know?
We're going to explain.
Okay.
She ended up answering the
I
question.
know if I sleep with a nigga within the first 5 minutes of it.
This is different though. This is different.
It's always different when it has to do with you, right?
No,
It's
no,
always
this is
different.
different
No,
because it was a
listen.
question that was supposed
You
to have
are a ride or die friend. I will say that. You have defended her, and you have went through ride or die.
We try to get through the story.
Can I get a ding 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 or something? Like, hit the, I'm a ride or die all
We'll give
day.
you.
These nuts.
Hey, I'll take it.
So
Oh,
before we got to rewind back for you to understand this part. So one of the girls that were there was my friend,
Yeah.
and she does lashes, she do microblading, she do all this type of stuff. So when she come in to the party, she was like, hey, you got to come get your lashes done. I'm like, hey, I don't do lashes. And I didn't go into it. She was just like, why? And I was like, I just don't like them. But there's an actual reason why. They took out my real lashes at one point. So I don't do lashes anymore.
you got 30 seconds.
Yeah. And then the next question that was asked to me was to take a shot. Well, I don't drink like that. I'm slowing down on drinking. So when the question was presented to her, why you feel that way? That's what she threw back in my face. I think you're fronting because when they asked you to take a shot, you didn't take a shot. And when she asked about your lashes or doing your lashes, she was like, I don't wear lashes. And I think you're fronting.
You do, on your first impression, you do seem kind of stuck up.
No, it's because I'm an introvert and I'm quiet and I'm observing. I don't just go and just talk to you.
Well, it doesn't mean you are stuck up. It just, you seem, and it's not a bad
That's a
thing to seem
personal
stuck
problem
up.
because the way I look, you feel like I'm stuck up. Like, I don't mistreat people. I'm very kind.
Yeah, I'm just saying
But what gave you that?
that you're stuck up.
I seem to be stuck up.
No, I don't think you're stuck up. I think you complain a lot.
I do not complain a lot. Let me tell you something.
No. You comment a lot.
I do.
Not
I'm gonna make my
complain.
statements. I do not bite my tongue, and if things ain't ran properly, then I'm gonna say what I gotta
She
say.
comments. She has a lot of comments. What is it? What is this? February, March, April, May, June, March?
It was this year.
There's a lot of shit that's been going on, and I know we were talking about this off camera. What's the first thing we want to set out there? What are we going to talk about first?
Sierra.
Who brought up Ciara earlier
We both
I
did.
brought
Yeah,
up
pretty much.
in a group chat. Yeah.
in the group chat? That was you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
So
Why? First of all, why are we on Ciara? Like, haven't we like just
Ciara.
given her? How do you say her name? Sierra.
Ciara.
I'm stuck up. Ciara.
Ciara.
Ciara. I'm stuck up. That's why I'm doing my pinky out too. So we talk about Ciara. Okay.
Okay.
Why are we still fucking with this woman?
What do you mean? Wow, what's wrong with her?
The world, like,
She's
why are we
always
still?
trending because of her husband, who she was, and it just don't matter who she was. They in love, and people need to leave them alone.
So what did she do? Let's hear it.
So the issue that people are speaking about is the dress that she wore. It was the Grammys, correct?
I seen the dress. It was a beautiful dress. I saw all of her. It was a nice dress.
Well, I can't say the dress is beautiful because it didn't really. With her body, that's what you're speaking of, her body, because the dress
dress
was
was
just a see-through fabric that just laid there.
It was constructed very well. You didn't like it, I'd assume.
I don't dislike it or like it.
So what is the
Was it
whole
tasteful?
point of? Is that the whole point of talking about Sarah?
No,
Because
so
of
the
dress she wore?
issue that a lot of men, I see a lot of men speaking on this, is that they're basically saying that Russell Wilson should have left her for the streets,
Because of a dress she wore.
right? As a wife and as
What is
a
for?
mother.
What is for the streets? What is this
It's
term?
a term that came from Future.
What is this
when
term you hoodlums talk about?
It was dealing with Lori Harvey when he caught her with Trey Songz,
Okay.
and he was like,
He caught her with Trey Songz.
yeah, I guess the blogs or somebody posted or whatever, and that's when he was like, she's for the streets. He was talking about Lori, so that's
So-
where that term came from, and people ran with it.
So we're using a term for the streets
From her baby daddy,
from a guy named Future
her baby daddy.
who has like 20 kids by 20 different women who's definitely for the streets. So we're
Thank
gonna let
you.
Tiara is one of them.
No, she ain't for the streets.
I didn't say she was for the streets. She's one of the baby mamas.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't the term for the streets is I know what it means. It's stupid. It's whatever it is. But the dress, I know what you're talking about. What did you think about the dress?
Personally, it's not something that I would wear, but to my knowledge, it was a theme. They had a naked theme, so everyone was wearing outfits.
Hold on, it was a what?
It was a naked theme.
A naked theme.
Yeah.
Guys, do y'all
was a party.
understand how important context is?
Yeah.
Are we really complaining about someone who wore a dress when she's half naked
Right.
to a party that is themed about being naked?
Right.
Pull that up, because
Yeah,
nobody
it was-
else trending but her.
She's the only one trending because I don't know if she's a wife, but everybody else in there was a wife too. Who else is? Idris Elba's wife was wearing a naked theme.
But it's probably
I'm not
because
complaining about it. I wouldn't wear it personally. I would have wore a different dress to show off my body because I didn't like the dress.
I didn't even know
But
it was a naked thing.
It was a naked theme,
That's
so I
ridiculous.
think that everybody was just going over the top because it was her, but they didn't realize it was a naked theme. So I think that the dress was
it was
up to
appropriate.
par appropriate
Oh, well,
for
then
the occasion.
I
Yes.
stand corrected.
Do
If
y'all
they had a
understand-
red theme or a white theme, I would go with the theme too. So,
Do you understand how important context is, people?
yep.
I mean, context it's very big. So I've had conversations with people and I've said something and they took it out of context. And I always tell people that when you say something, it is not meant to be used universal. When you say something is meant to be used for that topic you're talking about. Now, if she wore that dress to her grandmother's funeral, that's a different conversation, right? But
This
yeah,
was a theme.
yeah, and I thought it was a dope dress. Now, a lot of the people that don't know outside of this, I think you're holding on to that information. So when you see her talking shit, you're gonna say that to us, and we'll feel stupid.
What?
I think you did that on purpose. That was dope.
Right,
That was
'cause
good.
I didn't know it was a
no.
thing.
That was you did your
Told me to
research.
save it for the podcast.
You did your research, asshole. Cool. So anyway, so a lot of the people are making fun of Ciara. Am I saying it wrong still?
Sierra.
Oh, am I still saying it wrong?
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna keep on saying it that way, damn it. So they're talking about Ciara and the dress she wore and making fun of Russell Wilson. Like, how is he letting her go out like that? How is he going to let her go out somewhere? Explain that. And I'm a man, and I don't think me, if I was married, girlfriend, I don't think I can let my wife go out of the house any specific kind of way. Like, she's gonna go out as she feels comfortable. So how do you feel about the men that I guess are saying, as you said, are mad because how did he let her do it? The word let is big. That means something. How do you feel about let somebody?
I have no problem with if I'm dating someone and if they're uncomfortable with an outfit and they voice that, I don't mind changing, right? Because I'm with a man that I want to lead, and that's part of leading. If he's uncomfortable with that, does not mean that he's controlling. That don't mean he's jealous. That just means that he's uncomfortable with what I got on. I'm gonna go change because I don't want my man to be uncomfortable. However, obviously he's comfortable in his skin, his masculinity. He know that that's my woman. Can't nobody touch her.
So where's that thin line between leading and controlling? Because there has to be a fine line.
I mean, some girls will call that controlling. Me personally, that's not controlling.
So where's that fine line between comfortable and controlling?
I think I would draw the line at it being something that you're constantly always talking about. My clothes, what I'm wearing all the time. I feel like if you met me that way, you shouldn't have any problem with how I dress when we get together. You know I like to dress up. You know I like to show skin. If you have a problem with a woman showing skin, I am not the woman for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew Ciara's skin before I knew her.
And you know what's crazy? Everybody knew Ciara was like this. She dresses like that. If you
She's an entertainer.
She is. She's an entertainer. He knew what he was getting himself into. So everybody's like, "Oh, she's for the streets. She's for the streets." Blah, 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 because of who she dated. She was in hip hop. She was dating artists. That's what they do when they're famous. They date artists. They date people on their social status.
So how would you feel about the whole letting? So your husband letting you tell?
I think that's just such a crazy word to use because when you're married, you don't let. And I don't know. I just feel like. Y'all, they're married, so it's whatever they want to do in their marriage. They're okay. They're both secure in their marriage, so.
I'm big on individuality, like huge on it. And again, I understand marriage is just because you're married and united with someone, it doesn't mean that you lose your identity as an individual, right? Now, of course, things can be tasteless. And I think one of the comments you said was, what is as a wife and as a mother, like I'm a father. I have a life. I have a whole adult life outside of me being a parent, right?
Right.
And because I choose to be an adult when I'm allowed to be an adult does not make me any less of a father.
Yes.
Nor if I was married, it wouldn't make me any less of a husband neither because I choose to be an adult when I am allowed to be a fucking adult. Mm-hmm. So I think that whole thing when people are trying to use those extremes to make their point so other people can feel stupid, I think it's dumb. It's like saying you're in an argument with someone and like, well, what would Jesus do? Like, oh, fuck. Of course, you know what I mean? Like, how can you argue that, right? So it's like people are saying stuff like saying stuff like that to win battles, to win arguments. But as far as like letting somebody do something,
yeah, like the argument of, oh, why would you let your wife or why would you let your husband like? Just because they're a wife or husband, that has nothing to do with how they dress. Yeah. If they're okay with how their woman or how their man dress, that should be on them. For me, the theme was a naked theme. I'm gonna wear a dress for the theme, but that dress I probably wouldn't have wore. I just didn't like the dress itself, but the theme was it was cute. That was cool. I never heard of a naked theme before. I would have participated too.
I would have came with Justin Timberlake's Dick in the Box costume on. That's exactly what it came on. And if y'all have not seen that, y'all Google, look up Dick in the Box, and that is exactly what I would have worn.
Some of the men were participating too.
I just feel that people need to understand that there's no one way of marriage.
That's true.
What two people come together and what works for them. Mm-hmm. That is marriage. So mind your business and focus on your own relationship.
Yeah.
And
I feel like if they're
we'll
cool
all be okay.
I feel like I feel like he never addresses anything about his wife because he's like,
he don't have to.
That's his wife and he know what's going on in the relationship. He knew what I'm pretty sure they pre-planned what their outfits would be. And he was like, babe, go out there, you're going to kill it with that outfit on.
That dress had to have been designed. That wasn't them you just went to Macy's and picked up. So that whole thing was planned. They knew. And first of all, secondly, I don't think Russell Wilson runs that relationship anyway, if we're going to really have that conversation.
Yeah, she definitely changed him.
And if there's any conversation that needs to be had.
They changed each other.
And if there's any conversation that needs to be had, it is the way that Russell Wilson played last year and how he finessed the Broncos out of what $230 some million contract. He finessed the hell out of them. That's a conversation we need to have, and hopefully Sean Payton gets in his ass this year and fixes all that. Now in celebrity news, Ja Morant. He's another idiot out there, right? Yeah. We're going to keep with the sports theme.
Well, we're going to say another one because Ciara is definitely not an idiot.
I was talking about Russell Wilson.
He's not an idiot.
I don't
No,
think he's an idiot.
He's not
Hold up, time out. How do you think he's an idiot?
the way he played. That's my conversation.
I thought you were talking about with Sierra.
That's
Okay.
personal.
I don't care about his personal life. I don't know
No.
this man.
Well, that's a personal issue.
Yeah, I know
That
him
you
as
got
a
with
football
right
player.
now.
That's my issue with him. But definitely personal.
Yeah.
But I don't like the Broncos, so whatever. Let's
I
ride.
don't like him either.
Let's ride. Ja Morant. So Ja Morant was in the news not recently, it was a while ago. And I wanted to speak on this days ago, or weeks ago, but I didn't. And you kind of was like, no, let's not speak on it because, and this is the voice I'm giving her too, right? No, let's not speak on it because if we talk about it, then things change. No, that was the other. That was Wiggins. That was Wiggins.
Exactly.
Well, that's still your voice.
Exactly. I apologize.
I apologize. My bad. But so Ja Morant, it was in the news for showing up his little pea shooter, right? He had a gun like this. He's
It's a 22.
that's how he's posting his Draco, right? Like this, right? So he was why? Like so my issue, what is you know what's going on. What is the issue with the story, if at all? If any issue?
You know what? I haven't actually seen the pictures, to be honest
haven't?
with you. No.
You haven't, girl?
I haven't
my
seen
God.
the pictures of
Viral.
him holding the gun or anything.
Just like this is how he's holding the gun.
So
With a big smile. Baby dreads.
I'm gonna let one of y'all take the lead, and then I'm gonna branch off.
What you got? What do you know about? How do you feel about the whole situation? You're familiar with it, right?
I think that a lot of people probably will disagree.
Okay.
I think that him being so rich, talented, you made a way out. You probably make more money than all your family combined. You just you're fumbling at
wait.
such a young age. He's fumbling.
I thought he wasn't from the hood,
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
not. That's what
so how
I'm
do you make
hearing.
it out?
but you said he made it out.
I mean, you don't have to be from the hood to make it out. You can make it out and be from the suburbs.
No, that's true. Making it out is
Making
just
it
making
out, making it.
No,
Like
no,
he
you're
made
right.
it.
Yeah. We go
There's
with
probably
that.
nobody in his family that was famous or nothing, but he made it. Like you made it out of just your family even having to work for the rest of their life.
You know, that's
Like,
always related to making out the hood.
it is, but this is he made it.
So-
When you make it out, you make it out.
So for y'all that are just joining us, we're talking about Ja Morant. Ja Morant is an NBA basketball player, an elite point guard who plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. I was about to say Memphis City Grizzlies. He plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he was caught. I think it was not. It was an old post, I believe it was, because he had the baby dreads and he had a gun. The old or new post, don't quote me on that, but he was posted with a gun. But he's also been in the news for a lot of other things. He, I guess, beat up a younger kid, 17-year-old kid, and hit him 12 times and pulled out a gun on him. So he's been doing a lot of other things. He was also shown, he was on a bus and he had like a laser. You know, you have the red dot on the gun and he was pointing inside of another team's bus. His friend was in the car, so he said it wasn't him, but he's been doing a lot of stuff that makes no sense. Now, Ja Morant, again, like I said, starting point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's making $250 million contract. He just signed a Nike shoe deal. So he had his Ja ones. So he's doing very good for himself and he has his behavior. Now he's doing this and now the world's looking at him as like unusable goods right now.
Yeah.
He's suspended indefinitely right now. He was allowed to come back maybe two games ago, so he did miss 4 to 6 games, I believe. Now he's in some rehab, I believe, or some counseling in Florida. This is all that's going on in this man's life. I can go on and it gets more boring and boring. My issue with Ja Morant is beyond the fact that he's stupid, right? I understand where he's coming from. I really do, right? And one thing about like being black and being from the hood, those are stripes, right? Being black and being from the hood. Nobody who it's like your rite of passage as a man. Things like that. Nobody wants to be, especially like a black man. And I don't know if there's other black men that think different than what I'm saying. Speak on it, right? But there is the whole healer. Oh my gosh. He says hi, JB. Anyway, so no pun intended, guys. It was just so. Anyway, he had Like they want to be from that's where you get your street cred from, right? So I get it. When I was young, I've always wanted to be associated with the tougher guys, not the smart nerds, not the weaker guys, right? I've always wanted to be looked as cool and tough.
The bad boy.
He's a bad boy look, right?
Yeah.
Now, again, I wasn't making 200 and something million. And as you sit here and shake your head, there's a lot of women. There's a lot of women out there. Exactly. Brian, he ain't from the hood.
Right.
But everybody wants, so when you get that money, that's the entourage you want to be around, right? I mean, that's who you want to hang out with. So it's like dope and it's cool. Why is that? I don't know. I grew up in Hawaii. I was born.
You look like you grew up in Hawaii.
No, that's dope. Appreciate it. Shit.
It's a good thing though.
But I was born on the east side of San Antonio.
She lied.
Shortly moved to the northeast after that. Grew up in Hawaii, came back to the northeast side. But I've always had this thing to like, what if I was really from the east side? You know what I mean? Brian Davis, he from the east side, right?
But what's the reason behind it? Why?
Because it's just that street cred, right? And I was a cool kid. I was never a nerd. But then it's like that respect that you get from your peers.
So to impress males or females? It's
to fit in with the guys that we want to fit in.
I get what you're saying.
Now, it's very irresponsible. It's not the way to do. I'm older, so I see how stupid that is, right? Okay. Just as Ja is. But we're not talking about Ja. We're talking about an issue that are really, I never wanted to be like, I'm from Stone Oak. What's up? Like, nobody wants that. No one is like, I'm from West Hollywood. Hey, like, that's not the life that we live. Let's be honest.
From the Dominion.
Well, I'm proud.
You know what I mean?
I'm from Jersey.
You know what I mean?
I don't.
Like, well, I'm saying, like, people from the Dominion, which if y'all aren't out here, people in San Antonio, people, if you're in the Dominion, they go, you know, that's the rich side of San Antonio. All the rich white folks and black. Anyway, that's what I said. There you go. People from the Dominion, they go to the east side to prove that they hard, right? People from the east side go to the Dominion to rob, to work. That's what they do, right? So it's a different lifestyle, right? But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend and lie that I never wanted to be perceived around the tougher group as a man. But like, again, that's a male's creed. Brian, speak on it. You know what I mean? Let me know. Whoever's listening, talk on it. As a woman, y'all don't have that. Do y'all? How do y'all present yourselves to other people? How do y'all look cool or feel cool? Makeup, suck dick, what is it?
No, I think the way I carry myself as a woman at this big age, I feel like I feel cool by being classy. Like that's I've always been like that, but that is what to me is what I want to be perceived as. That's cool to me. Like I'm a classy woman, but I knock all this shit over.
So being classy is a woman's like,
yeah. Everybody that's in, like everybody wants to be like the classy, clean nails, hair, all that.
I call bullshit. I saw what you're trying to wear to church last week.
Huh?
I saw what you're going to wear to church. What you're going to put on to wear to church last week.
Well, I didn't have the full fit on. That was literally just.
You said you would wear that to church.
And I told you I was gonna put like a sweater over it though. Like I wasn't just gonna come straight like that.
So women want to be classy. That's y'all's.
But how you dress does not determine if you're classy or not. It's the way that you carry yourself as a woman, like how you act. That
Didn't y'all
to
just
me.
say Sierra was for the streets because of the
I never said Sierra was for the streets. I said the theme.
No,
Okay.
I said men are saying
Men are
that.
saying that.
Yeah, I don't think she's for the streets. I never thought she was.
I'm just being a dick to y'all. Finish. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, it's just how you carry yourself as a woman. Like, you know, how you dress does not determine if you're classy or not. That just determines if you could put that shit on or not.
I don't think that's what classify
Men.
Definitely not for me. I don't even care about being cool at this point of life.
How about when you were younger? Was that important to you? Because I think if we say it was never important, I think we'd be very dishonest.
That's subjective.
Being cool,
Yeah.
maybe being included, but I wouldn't say cool. But honestly, I learned at a young age to F that, to be honest.
Because I mean, again, but another conversation I eventually want to have is like about a male's creed. Because again, we come from a different, so being tough and being strong and that is important to a man. And as a woman, you'd understand why that is important to a man.
I do.
For a woman, that's not really important to y'all. Not at all. Because
Being
again,
tough?
Yeah,
I don't want to be
being
the toughest
tough.
in the room. I want to be one of the classiest.
You know what I mean? So
Right. But if we're speaking as women as a whole, it seems like lately modern women are coming off more tougher than normal.
I don't see in that. I think y'all are coming off a lot more stupider than anything. If you want to be honest,
Stupider.
Yeah,
Oh,
I said that for a reason. More stupider. Y'all
Boys
really
get
are.
stupider.
Okay.
But and that's another conversation. But again, I have my whole issue with the identity of y'all women.
That's an easy label to say stupider.
Yeah.
Like, okay, break that down.
No, I'm not gonna break it down in this conversation. It will be here all day.
All right.
But my whole point, going back to John Morant, like I understand why he did that. Do I think it's right? No, I don't think that people do things for the right reason. They do things for other reasons, and it's stupid of him to do that. But that lifestyle, to sit here and pretend like it's not fun. Remember, he's in a strip club holding a gun. He's around these people. They're doing drugs. They're having the girls. They're partying. They're drinking. Like, that's a fun lifestyle. At some point, you have to kind of get yourself out of that and understand that you're here for a different reason. And I guess that's my John Morant conversation. I mean, and that's just basically saying that, yeah, I don't know. I don't think when we have arguments, men and women, I think the creed of a person should be talked about more often. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense when I say that? The creed of what do you hear when I say that? What is the creed of a man? What is our creed?
I don't know. I'm not a man.
What do you think it is? Because a woman,
Fighter.
okay, because a woman will be so fast to say what a man is and what a man isn't. Just the type of man I want. Like, y'all are so quick to say.
Well, I know what I want in a man, but I can't speak really for other men about what a man should be. And I mean, I know what I want.
A lot of women. Are we going down this rabbit hole?
Say it.
Yeah. So a lot of women proclaim to know what they want. No shots at you. Just me as a whole, from hearing women always stating what they want, and the man be right in front of them. So it's technically not what they truly want. So that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, and like I'm real big, and that's something that I've noticed. I've had conversations and arguments, and and a woman for some reason chooses to not understand where a man is coming from in a lot of different things.
Yes.
But it's because a man is looking at a situation completely different than a woman will ever look at a situation. Mm-hmm. If we're in this house right now, as we've always talked about before, and someone breaks into this house, my mentality on that situation is going to be 110% different than both of y'all's. And it should, right? As we were talking about, if we have a child and our child falls, your response is going to be completely different than mine, as it should. Mm-hmm. But that's because me as a man, I'm coming from a different narrative and from a different space than you are. Mm-hmm. So that also goes into the arguments and the conversations as into why I'm doing this, why I'm doing something. You have to understand where I'm coming from. And a lot of people don't do that. And I think if we figure that out, just like the Ciara, the dress, right? Yeah. She was going to a naked themed party. That shit makes sense now that I understand it now. Oh, right. It makes sense.
And if you see the other photos, there's other photos of people with the naked dress on. Yeah.
Oh, that shit makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's like, now you understand why I did it, right?
Yeah.
Why'd you hit that dude? Because if I didn't hit that nigga, he would charge me up every fucking time I saw him. So I have to talk shit around people, not because I want to, but because if I don't, I'm a marked man, right? And that's not even in the streets. That's just in real day environment. If a man tries to touch you and you don't want his advances, you have to tell him something, because if not, he's going to look at you as a marked woman. He's going to be able to feel like he do whatever he wants to do, right?
Yes.
So there's reasons why men do things. So before a woman, and this again, back to the John Morant, and this just goes on to a man's creed. Before a woman wants to sit here and talk to a man as into why we do this or why we do that, or how can we do this and not be upset, understand why we did it. Have that conversation with us. The nigga may say some bullshit. Then get on him for the bullshit that he said. Mm-hmm. But at least have the conversation and understand as into why he said this or why he did that. And then you can move on and figure everything else out.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my man's creed. What is a woman's creed? I'm on my high horse about a man's creed. What is a woman's creed?
Ooh. So from Oh, I really don't want to. But anyway, from my experience,
Real quick.
maybe.
The whole healer. J-Dub. He said, what women say they want always differ from the type of man they deal with in real life.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Really?
Yes. A lot of women, they verbalize and say they want this. And when that man comes, like he was too good. There was something missing. It was this. Instead of like, bitch.
I did that
that's
once.
What you
Yeah,
asked
I did that
for.
before.
That's what you want.
A couple times.
You want this guy that, and his emotions. You want him to be masculine. You want him to be a leader. You want him to also support you. And then when you get that, something was missing. But when that toxic man come along and mistreat you and, he loves me. Like, I don't know, it's something about him. He probably got some good pee-wee. Most toxic men got some good pee-wee. Get it. But it's just something about that man. And to me, that's, I would say majority of females.
So most women don't know the type of man they want. I think most women, the type of man they want isn't even a real man. Like some of the shit y'all draw up.
Yes.
Like, who is this? Who is this fairy tale fantasy ass Negro that y'all speak of?
Let's speak of Russell. I want me a Russell Wilson. Half of them will get him and be like, Sierra, you can have him back, baby.
This man watches anime all day. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't want no man that watch anime.
But that's the thing. Like half of the men that y'all draw up, like you can't even make this dude with a potato head.
Well, number one, most women don't know who they are as a person. They don't even know what comes with being a wife. They don't know the little simple things. So how you gonna ask a man for something, but you don't even know what to bring to the table to him? So
It's the same
that's a
for
good
men though.
conversation.
How you gonna ask a woman for something or expect this from a woman and you don't even bring that to the table?
What do
like
you mean?
Like the men with 4 kids in my DMs. What are you doing?
Trying to fuck. What do you mean? What are they doing?
What are you doing?
What he's doing is he's being a man. He's hunting. It's up to you if you let him
Exactly.
catch
He's
you
doing
or
what he's
not.
supposed to do.
Don't
That's
hunt
what a
for
man's
me.
supposed to do. So that's the thing. I hate when women be like, men are thirsty. A man supposed to chase a woman.
But
right?
then you want us
They're
to
not
pay and all
thirsty,
this
but
other
it just
stuff.
sometimes make sense.
No, well, women are quick.
No,
to be
you
like,
have to make it make
No.
sense. He's gonna. The idea of dating is you always want to date up, right? You always want to do better than what
not
you're
for
doing.
men. They
Women-
typically date
Down. Yes. you guys date down.
No, but it's not because we want to.
I'm not talking about looks or anything.
No.
I'm saying like if a man making 6 figures, typically his woman not gonna be making
Yeah,
6 figures.
we
So
have
that's
to. It doesn't
dating
make sense.
down.
Yeah. But again, it's not necessarily. It is dating down in the sense when you're using the amount of money.
Financially.
But when you're looking at someone that can provide something that I can't provide for myself, it's complimenting. It's not necessarily dating down. It's more complimenting where I'm at.
Yeah.
But again, you're talking about the 1% of men who make 6 figures, which is less than 1%.
I think it's 5%, right?
Well, again, if that's people. Now just put the men in the category. Let's say 2%.
Okay.
But you're talking about a very small minority.
When I'm saying dated down for a man, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying that, let's say you got, I don't know, a man and a woman that make the same amount of money. Typically, that woman, she don't want to be submissive, right? But he can go get a woman from Starbucks that's going to be submissive. But that's technically dating down, but not in a negative way. Like you got a woman that you could combine y'all income, y'all make $200K together. Y'all could build an empire versus going to get a young lady that make $30,000. But what's important? Peace,
I'm on a power trip.
cooperation.
Can I power trip?
Go ahead.
Sure.
As us men, because us men, we're always going to be the dominant, powerful one. Technically, we're always going to be dating down.
I agree. So
Oh, motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. It's a damn sure.
he didn't even do nothing.
My
Hey, you didn't say nothing.
He
You
didn't even do nothing.
didn't nothing.
Hey, I'm like,
Do you feel
y'all
like
ain't
you
shit.
date down?
Huh?
Do you feel like you date down?
I put up with a lot of shit with people that I've dated that I shouldn't deal with. I will honestly say that. And I have, I've always been the person I feel like I've always brought more to the table than has been given to me. But again, I also feel like I
wanna get
should.
started on that.
I feel like I should, as a man, bring more to the table and have a lot more attributes that come with me than a woman.
Yeah.
I feel like I should. I live my life figuring out, perfecting shit, learning shit, because I feel like that's what I need to do to be a good provider and a protector. So I would like it if another woman could, build houses and educated and play games and teach and learn and play sports. And I mean, the list goes on. That'd be cool. But like, a woman has never had to obtain those skills to be successful in life. Whereas a man, if we do not obtain those skills, we're gonna be looked like, you know, I don't know, the little leftover piece of chicken, the little small piece of chicken. Like, no one wants that,
Or
right?
if you got the money to pay for it.
What you think, JB?
Oh, what's the question? I'm sorry.
She was.
Would you date down or have you dated down?
She stuck up, so of course she has.
I have.
I ain't gonna answer for her.
Right.
This is a question for her.
I'm just.
Have you
Hopefully-
dated down?
I feel like it was dating down. I married down. Yeah.
Oh crap!
Yeah. But
I hate that you said that. Ooh, I hate that you said that.
Why?
I'm married down. But now the gentleman is a part of the 1%. And I'm proud of him. But it wasn't the money that was the issue. It was other things in the marriage that was the issue. So I never married him for his money. I've never been that type of woman. I'm a lover. I'm a sucker for love.
Why would you consider you being with him dating down though?
No, because I know the question she's asking from a woman point of view, it would be considered marrying down.
So as a man, I don't know what
I was
is
the
that?
breadwinner in the home. So I took care of the mortgage. I took care of majority of the bills because he was in school.
Okay.
Right. And I had no problem with that because he was a great man as far as like personality and monogamous and stuff like that. But it was just things like communication and things that dealt with sex that was not on the same level. And who I was back then is not who I am today. I tried to exercise and definitely go to counseling, everything to make that marriage work. I did. So I didn't just walk away.
So dating down for you is more of a financial conversation.
No.
Because I'm just saying, because that's what you
when
said.
a woman is speaking on dating down
For a woman,
yeah,
financial is kind of where it's
yeah,
at.
it's always with money with women. Like you see it, unfortunately, but yeah.
So
Did you kind of like lose respect for him because he was in school and you were the breadwinner and you were paying all the bills?
I had no
never
problem.
did?
So I try to be submissive to him. I think that his ego, his shame got the best of him because I was taking care of home. It made him feel less than, but I never verbally ever made that man feel less than. It was his insecurities.
okay, so listen. So he was feeling a certain kind of way, and it had and the way he was feeling had nothing to do with what you were doing. It was his own.
I don't believe that a man got to make more money than me for me to be submissive. I was raised in a home. I was taught to be submissive to a man. Like, I'm not even going to be in a relationship with you if I feel like you can't lead. Like, that's the number one thing for me. Forget, I don't know, money. If you can make $60,000, $70,000 and be a leader, that's amazing. A lot of men don't know how to lead these days.
So back to the question.
Okay.
You felt like he had insecurity issues or he was insecure. And the reason why he was insecure had nothing to do with you.
I'm saying because I wanted to take trips. He didn't have the funds. So I paid for everything. Like, a man want to know that he could take care of his woman. He could not take care of me. I had to take care of him. So even though I didn't speak on it, I'm not gonna lie, towards the end when things started getting sour, yes, I brought those things up. Like, I've been holding you down this whole time. You know, I said little slick stuff. I learned from it. But in the beginning, I tried to be his support. I tried to be submissive. I would ask him how his day was. His reply would be like, don't worry about me. I got me. However, we have spoken since then and got closure. And he apologized how he made it seem like it was me, but it was never him. He the one told me it was his insecurities because he couldn't be a man in a marriage.
I wonder if, because again,
He said it's a red flag. I don't know what the red flag is. Is the red flag towards JB? Is the red flag towards the man?
No, I'm not a red flag, so whatever.
No, because
I was in my 20s as well, so I was very young.
and that's the thing. So you're supposed to mess up with
I
things,
learned a
right?
lot in that marriage.
But to sit here and make it seem like you did nothing wrong, not saying that you made, not saying you said that, not saying you said that.
Did I not just say towards the end when? Shut up.
Sorry.
So towards the end, I'm not gonna lie, like, I would come home. There's nothing worse than coming home and not being acknowledged. Like, I had butterflies. I'm coming home to my husband.
Yeah.
Right? And I would come home and he wouldn't acknowledge me. But he was going through a depressed moment in his life. I didn't know that because I would try to communicate with him and he didn't communicate with me. So I thought, oh, like, is it me? Like, my self-esteem started being affected. Like,
So you noticed that he wasn't acting his normal self.
right, because we moved to another state. I was active duty in the Army.
So you noticed he wasn't acting like his normal self.
Yes.
And you noticed that he wasn't really cooperating and functioning as you
Right.
normally would. And that affected you.
No, that was towards the end. I tried to go to counseling. We went twice. Everything turned over like a new leaf. And he was like, oh, we don't need to go anymore. Listen, if you're watching, you're my boy. I'm so sorry. But he was like, we're done. Like, we're good now. We don't need to go to counseling no more. And I was like, no, it don't work like that. So we stopped. He didn't want to go no more. And then
Why did he not want to go anymore?
communication was definitely not a part of our marriage.
Yeah, that sucks.
That was the biggest thing. That was the biggest issue. And then sex. My sex drive is high. His sex drive is...
He wasn't making no money. When I heard when a man ain't making no money, he ain't got no
Pussy
sex
drive
drive.
So his sex drive wasn't on point.
Why are you laughing at that, man?
If you broke, you how can you think about sex when you broke?
Because
Shit.
so I didn't know that before we got married because we dated. We was gonna wait to marriage to have sex. That was the goal. But we ended up slipping up like after we were already in a relationship. So I was like, okay, maybe this is just something that he's going through. But it was like he just didn't have a high sex drive, and I need a man with a high sex drive. So
I think-
those
oh,
two,
man,
so
I
you
think-
got finance, sex, and communication. The three things that you definitely need in a marriage was lacking.
I think a lot of the things that women look for in a relationship
Wow.
very superficial, like very like it has nothing to do with an actual. To me as a man, again, I'm not a woman, right? So I can't speak on what y'all need, but oh my gosh, like out of everything you said, that communication was a big conversation. That's a big thing.
Absolutely.
I would love in the relationship that I'm I guess halfway currently in or dealing with right now. I would love to go to a real counseling session with this person, like for real, like for really talk about shit. One thing I hate is talking about how I feel about something and expressing how I feel and it being unheard. That is the worst thing. You might as well kick me in my nuts and that'll feel better than doing that to me.
Yeah.
To not being heard. And to not, again, I'm a big why person. Everybody, women will understand that if I do something, it will make you feel a certain kind of way, which then will make you act a certain kind of way. But it's funny because y'all do a lot of shit as women. You kind of said it earlier, and you won't realize that maybe what you're doing is the reason why someone else is acting a different way. Like sometimes women do not realize that y'all are oblivious. Someone else is feeling bad, and instead of making sure that person is okay, or instead of being like, whatever, well, because you're acting like this, it's making me in a mood, and now I'm act like this. But what if I need you?
Did you miss the part where I said
Well, no,
I used to check on him? Like, definitely. He said, don't worry about me.
yeah. But even in that sense, like if I was asking someone that I'm really close to and I'm checking on them and seeing what's going on, knowing damn well something's wrong, and their response is, oh, nothing. You know that there's something wrong, and you know that maybe not prying at that moment needs to happen, but you need to kind of heat check this situation every now and then to make sure it's okay. And instead of saying what's wrong, knowing that there's something wrong, try to fix the problem if you can. But again, it's a one-off situation. I don't know the whole ins and outs. And again, we were young.
To Mr. Hiller, what's red flag about my past? I learned from it. It made me a better woman. I definitely... whatever.
They talking crap in the comments.
Yeah. Like, I'm just speaking on my past relationship who made me who I am today. And it definitely made me a better woman. But I was definitely raised to be a wife by my mom. 30-year marriage, her and my dad.
What does that mean? Raised to be a wife? What does that mean?
So I only can speak of what
Do women pride themselves on that? Like,
I don't think a lot of women are raised to be wives.
but what is raised to be a wife? What does that mean?
What's your definition?
I don't have a definition. I can just tell you.
You got
What does
stumped.
it mean?
What does it
what does
mean
it mean to you then?
Oh, so
Yeah. Your
at the
definition.
age of 4, like I spoke to you earlier about this, like the level
Speak to the
of
world
my
now.
mom teaching me things that I need to know as a woman. So when I get married, I know how to do these things. I.e., at the age of 4, I was making a bed, cleaning up behind myself. As soon as I hit 10,
That's
I
what
had
being
to
a
go.
wife is?
I had to go in the kitchen. Well, you want me to finish? Or you want me to stop?
No, go ahead.
But this is her
No, go
definition.
ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, loyal friend coming in. This is her definition. Let her
Go ahead.
speak.
Learning how to cook. And then my mama set an example when her and my dad are communicating, how my daddy always made the final say so. Like if they couldn't agree on something, the man is the leader. So at the end of the day, he makes the final decision, and that's it. When it came to the kids, you know, my mom focused on the kids. That's how I'm traditional. I think that a man should have to fix his own plate. He don't have to worry about the kids. Like I want to do everything when it comes to home. Make sure it's peaceful. I'm gonna greet my man at the door. Just the things that I saw that my mama said as examples.
Was your mom a stay-at-home wife?
Well, she had businesses, but yeah, she was
She
at
was stay
home.
home?
My daddy was the breadwinner.
Would you like to be a stay-at-home mom?
No,
So you need
wanna
to
be
wipe
stay-at-home.
all that shit out the window.
no, I still do it.
So you think that when you have kids and you're not a stay-at-home mom, you're working, that you're gonna want to come home and just handle the kids by yourself?
I would never forget about my man. Kids are raised to be part way and leave the home. My man is there forever.
You're that woman?
Yeah, I'm gonna take care of my kids. We're gonna take care of the kids together.
No, that wasn't my question though.
No, that
You
wasn't.
think that as when you come home and you're a wife, and you know when your man comes home and you come home from a long day of work as well, you think that only you should be taking care of the kids? He shouldn't.
I said we're gonna take care of the kids together if I'm working. Like,
Oh,
but if my kids are small, I mean, we gotta pay for a nanny, daycare. I don't know, but yes, I'm gonna try to take off as much stress from my man so he could be.
What about-
as a black man, number one, and as a man, he already got to go out there and fight the world. When he come home, I got home.
That's how I know you stuck up, because you said a nanny.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I would get a nanny so that I could focus on my marriage and we can be happy.
Not
And
a babysitter.
see, that's what
Babysitter,
I
nanny,
said,
whatever.
a lot of women don't know what they're signing up for when they're getting married or want a monogamous relationship. I still gotta make satisfy my man.
I personally think what is your, were you raised to be a wife? What does that mean to you?
no, I was not raised to be a wife, but now as I'm an adult and I'm dating, my dad is definitely teaching me how to be a wife, what a man would want, but I wasn't raised that way specifically. I was raised to be happy. I was raised to be true, honest to myself, true with others. And like my dad's main thing for me is just to be happy. So, and in that aspect, when it comes to being raised to be a wife or whatever, I was not taught that growing up. But as an adult now, my father is teaching me that.
Learning-
because I'm grown and I, you know, but like, I don't feel like being taught to be a wife had anything to do with what I learned when I was a kid. Like, for instance, JB just said, oh, like to clean and stuff. I was taught that because my father felt like, you know, you need to learn how to clean.
Yeah.
One day you're going to be on your own. You have to learn how to clean for yourself. And then one day you're going to be a wife. And now, you know, you're going to learn how to, one day you're going to have kids, or when you do have kids, you got to learn how to clean up after yourselves and just to be a clean person. And then I had to learn how to wash my own clothes. Those are, I feel like, basic skills that you need when you're growing up. So I was taught how to do those things because one day I'm going to be on my own, and I am on my own. And I very much am so grateful that my parents taught me to do that. But teaching me how to be a wife, just doing those things, that I don't think those equate to me being a wife. That's just something that everybody should be doing.
For what, being, no offense to nothing anyone said, it's just a random thought that came up, because you speak about being a wife and how your mom taught you how to be a wife. You speak on it about how your dad has currently now teaching you as an adult how to be a wife.
Yeah.
Learning to be a wife, learning to be a wife from a woman to me is equivalent as a dog teaching a horse how to be a cat. That's the best way I can put it. It's you learning to be a wife from your dad. It makes sense to me, right?
So it's okay for a mom to teach her son how to be a husband. And we got plenty of single homes where these women are not. So
No.
But men are not either. But I'm learning because.
Yeah.
But I'm also learning from a point where my dad taught me because he was married, and that's what he wanted as a man. So he's teaching me from a man's perspective how to be a wife to my man. My mom
I
can't.
wasn't talking to you. I was talking to him.
I know, but I'm just saying, like piggybacking off of his question
okay.
too, and then what you're saying. Hold up.
I think it makes more sense. You can't teach.
Traditional women, I feel like the older traditional women back in the day do have they're the gatekeepers of what a traditional woman should be.
You can't teach an adult, an adolescent or a child woman to be an adult wife.
And I think that's because we're not thinking of that when we're kids. Like
You're not.
I'm not thinking, oh my God, I need to do this for my husband. I'm thinking like, oh, I have to clean my bed because clean up everybody.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Like, I don't want to get in trouble.
You as an adult, your dad teaching you as an adult to be a wife, it makes sense. You can't, all that other stuff like you're talking about is your dad teaching you to be responsible. And even in your conversation, you always say your dad.
Yeah, I love
and then
my
you
dad.
say, I grew up with both my parents, but you always say dad. So that speaks volumes, right?
Yeah.
But you're learning from a male figure on how to treat a man now as an adult, not when you're younger, because I have 2 daughters. I am not raising my daughters to be a wife. I'm raising my 2 daughters as a kid to be responsible.
And that's why
humans.
Black women are getting married at a lesser rate than Asians and whites.
But again,
But they're not.
What is
I don't
the
think
goal?
they're
They
taught
do.
that
No. What
either.
is no? But what is so?
And you're thinking that I'm being taught at 4. I don't think my mom was like, you got to learn how to make your bed because when you're older, you're going to be married and you got to do this. No, that's not how it. Y'all are creating your own story instead of asking.
No.
You're assuming.
This isn't about you personally. It's just simply for one, learning from a woman as you're a child, like being raised to be a wife,
As a
raised to be a
teen.
wife, raised to be a wife, period. I don't care
Yes.
what age. You can't teach someone to raise someone to be a wife, in my opinion.
Yes, you can.
If they're
But if that
as a
was their
child.
goal with her, then that was their goal. But for me, on my end, my parents were married when they had me, and my parents were together. They were married. I was able to see what a marriage was like. I wasn't raised to be a wife. However, other people, you know,
Yeah.
especially how old your parents are too. I don't know how old your parents are when they had you, but mine
Way
had me
older.
when they were young. So they probably were like, "Oh, she's gonna be a wife one day," you know. Like, but mine were like,
Yeah.
"I just want to raise my kids to be happy and responsible." And
Like, I'm the baby. I got sisters that's almost 50.
Okay.
So my parents were already older when I was conceived. I'm not saying that my mom. She did used to say about the cooking part that, you know, a man don't want a woman that don't know how to cook. So that I remember that being stated, but I also put in there, if y'all was listening, just the example my parents gave me that I saw. They never argued in front of me. My dad always made the final say so.
Same.
And I picked those things up. So when I'm in a relationship and we cannot agree, I'm going to shut up and let you be the man. I'm going to let you lead. And
I've
should
seen
be able
that
to
too.
trust in my man that you can make a decision and I don't have to think about it or anything. I just know that you're going to make the right decision.
I feel like marriage is so important too, even though I've never been married. But since I seen my parents married, I was able to see the same things JB saw. Like I did see my dad make the final decisions. I remember my mom being like, ask your dad.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask me, ask your dad. If your dad say no, it's a no.
And don't push
I
back.
seen that. And then I also seen my mom being, you know, the woman and feminine and stuff like that. So I was able to actually see that. So because I want that for myself because I seen it. You know, a lot of women are going off of social media and what social media is saying, but like how many of y'all actually experienced it?
Take it
Have
from a
y'all
man.
actually experienced your parents being married and your mom, you know, she's working because she wants to, but she don't have to pay the bills? Like, and you can have not experienced it and still want that, but for me, I've experienced it. So I'm like, yo, my dad did that with my mom. I want that. We sat at the table. We had dinner with each other every night. My mom cooked. Like my dad,
And it was successful.
and it was dope seeing that. Like that was good times. So I want that one day.
So when you said about, you know, black women are getting married at a lesser rate than white and Asians, right? You speak that truth.
Yes. When they
Why do you
graduate.
say that? Why is marriage like how, like you're speaking when you say stuff like that, you're speaking with as marriage should be the goal for.
Okay.
Does that make sense when I say that?
I get what you're asking.
That marriage should be the goal. Can you repeat that?
It's not going to be the goal for everybody. You know, everybody is not going to get married. Everybody don't want to get married. But for those who do want to get married, and in the black community, it's always preached that, you know, get your education. A man will always be there. And that's why you find a lot of black educated women that are making a lot of money, but they're single. And I guarantee you, if they're honest with themselves, because majority of us are not honest with ourselves. We say things verbally to trick us mentally. But if you ask them, the one thing they regret is not allowing themselves to date and be with somebody while going on that journey. Because all that success is nothing without love.
But my whole thing when it comes to marriage, I don't shun marriage. I shun people. I have nothing.
You shun women.
No, I shun people. Right.
Okay.
Like I don't deal with men in that sense, but men are shitty too. Right. So I don't shun marriage. I think marriage, the idea of a marriage is probably the most coolest, dopest thing.
It's beautiful.
But it's the people that bother me when it comes to relationships. So I think more people are focused on being marriage as opposed to focused on having a good relationship. Now, of course, that's easily said. Everyone understands that that's true, hands down.
Yeah.
But we equate having a marriage as into having a good relationship. More people, in a sense, know how to be a wife, but don't know how to harness and nurture and have a good relationship with somebody. And I think that is like when I hear people like, I was raised to be a wife, or I want to be a wife. But then you look at them like, you're a shitty, like, how? Like, you don't talk, you're selfish. You
don't listen.
You don't listen. And like your idea of putting the husband first all the time, that is the word. I'm a man. I don't want you to put me first all the time. Like I don't, right?
I've heard that before. I've
Like,
heard a man say that before. A couple of them.
I'm going to be okay, right? I do not put me first all the time. You put this family first all the time. As a man, I'm putting this family first. Sometimes it's going to be me taking the smaller piece of chicken, but I'm going to do that to make sure everybody else is fucking fed.
Well, that's what worked for you.
No, I get what you're saying, right? But all I'm saying is that when we talk about marriage, I get it. But we don't talk about relationship. We don't talk about communication enough. We don't talk about conflict resolution. How do you handle conflict when shit hits the fan, which it always does? Arguments are always going to happen.
Yeah.
How do you handle conflict? People don't even know how to handle conflict. People think there are only two emotions, and that's happy and mad. That's it. People don't understand that other emotions. People don't even understand why people are down. I could be down and having a bad day, and most people don't even care as to why. They just see you're mad, and because you're mad coming home shitty, now I'm in a bad mood. So now I'm pissed off too.
Well, that's the part of the dating phase. You want to make sure that you're dating or moving forward with someone who's emotionally intelligent.
But again, so that emotional intelligence, that is more of a conversation as opposed to marriage, because I think there's a lot of steps that people skip and they just go straight to the courthouse and sign those papers. And I think there's a lot more that needs to be talked about when it comes to marriage and wanting to be a wife, because I think as humans, we're just shitty people to one another, and we really don't give a fuck about the next man. And that's maybe I'm jaded.
I'm just sorry about if those the type of people you're running into, because I honestly cannot say that.
Everyone knows, and it's not just the people I run into. It's just situations you see on the street, friends, family, social media. Like we really treat.
That's
each
a
other.
very small percentage to compare to the world. Very small.
If we want to sit here and think everything is hunky dory and people treat people nicely and
I'm
everyone
not
is good.
saying that that's the case. But what I'm not saying, I mean, what I am saying is that there are good sides. There is a good side to the bad side, right? And
I don't know what that means.
I think a lot of people, like for instance, you got people be like, oh, I don't want to ever get married because men cheat. Well, number one, you need to change your mindset, because you will hope that you will marry somebody that you know that agree to be in a monogamous relationship. So you already pulling that type of energy towards you because of the way you think. And I think that's where you need to change your mindset on life, and you attract more females, more of what you want of, or maybe of what you're deserving. But you're so negative. You speak negative of females all the time, and you keep getting those type of females.
But you don't.
I think there are amazing men out there. All men are not dogs. There are some very amazing guys out there that are single that want to be married. And I also, like before the last show, cheating is not the end all be all either. So it just depends on each individual.
I'm not, but I'm talking about the problems. I'm talking about problems, right?
Yeah.
So again,
So you're basically saying women and men may want to be married, but they don't even know how to face certain issues in the marriage when it boils down to it.
so it's just so, yes, but to elaborate, everyone wants to get married, but they don't know how to treat each other, right? Mm-hmm. And like, that's just a common, like people, I can honestly think, and I'm not saying people don't know how to treat other people. I'm driving in a car and there's a driveway, and I stop to let the person go because they're going the opposite way. So I'm gonna let you get in front of me. Or do what you got to do, right? Instead of stopping right in front of them while they're in the driveway and just sitting there. I know it's almost 7. I get it. And then you let the person go through and they don't wave. Like, that's just rude, right? And that's just something small and minor. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I'm from Jersey, so we never wave.
But you know what I mean?
But yeah, I get you.
Like that's crap, right? Like so I mean, it's like as far as like treating, you hold the door open for someone. A simple thank you can go a long way. A simple how's your day? A simple great rising will go a long way. Right? It'll go a long way.
The shade.
Wow.
But I mean, like I just think when we talk, I just don't think we talk about relationships enough. And I think we always talk about like how to become a millionaire, but no one ever tells you the journey that it takes to be that millionaire. Mm-hmm. Everyone talks about let's make it to the NBA, but no one ever talks about the work, dedication, and sacrifice it takes to make it to the NBA, NFL, NHL, or whatever league that you want to make it. Yeah. Everybody talks about how smart someone is, but no one understands how much time they put in studying. Everybody talks about being a wife or a husband, but no one understands what it really takes and how much of a sacrifice it takes to not put yourself first and put everyone else, including the family, in front of you to make that relationship work. And sometimes it's not about biting your tongue. It's just understanding that perfect husband that you're talking about.
No, I never said that.
Let me finish. That awesome husband, an awesome guy you're talking about, understanding that awesome person is also flawed. Which y'all get it. I know y'all get it. So I'm not speaking to y'all. I'm speaking to speaking to the peanut gallery, right?
Church.
So no, speaking to the peanut gallery, right? Because y'all get it. But it's like understanding that awesome person is not perfect. And I think a lot of times that people think that awesome person is perfect. So right when that person that they think is this awesome guy does something wrong, or this awesome girl does something wrong, all of a sudden they're not awesome anymore because they made 2 or 3 mistakes. And now this person is for the streets and they're for nobody. And how can you do this to me? And da. Because I'm normal and I'm human. And because I was going through some things, and because I'm trying to express to you how I feel about something, you never wanted to listen to me or cared about what I was saying.
Speaking of that, somebody actually made me realize something recently.
Last thought, because I know it's 7 o'clock.
I texted somebody and I told you to let them out, like, I'm holding you to a high standard, like, because I don't really date, and it's very rare that I really, really date and get to know people. So when I do, I'm like, listen, I'm holding you to a high standard. And their response to me was, okay, but I'm not perfect. And I was like, you know what? I had to really sit there and look at the text message, and I was like, you know what? You're right. Yeah. You're not going to be perfect. And I always have to keep that in the back of my head when dating. This person that I'm dating is going to be flawed, and I'm either going to be okay with them being flawed, or I'm not. And since no one's ever going to be really perfect and the perfect man, then that was just kind of like a wake up call for me. I needed to hear that from someone.
But the thing about it, that man, whatever man that is, whoever he becomes, he is going to be the one that's going to piss you off the most because you care about him the most. He's going to do things like not take the trash out that'll piss you off and bother you and boil your blood because he leaves his stank ass shoes in front of the door or wherever they're not supposed to be, as opposed to if someone else did it, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to you. So again, the person that we care about the most is always going to be the person that hurts us the most, not because they're doing it on purpose or not because they're just this horrible person. It's because we care so much about it. So those little things mean something, which is why I always say when it comes to conflict, understanding how to resolve conflict, which is sometimes understanding that shit happens, is the best thing to do. And not only understanding how to resolve conflict, but just stop just being, knowing that when you make that decision to be with someone, understanding that you're also making the decision to fight for that person, not with that person.
The best thing to do is what I used to do is go and speak with old couples. They all have a story.
I wish people would speak to old couples and old couples would actually tell the truth about their, not they don't, but like if you really, most old couples don't give a fuck and they've been through it and they have nothing to hide. But if you talk to an old couple that is really willing to tell the tea, as they say, and have real conversations, you'll realize that they've been through some of the worst times with each other. But at the end of the day, they made a decision that I will always fight for you, not with you. Last thought, I'll let you have it. What do you want? What do you got to say?
The daddies.
We're going to get into that later.
Yeah. I don't think I have a last thought, but
Is that your last
shout
thought?
out. Yeah. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We appreciate y'all.
Oh, Hitler.
Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe.
Did you say subscribe or did you say?
She said subscribe.
You said with a V, right?
Subscribe.
No, you said subscribe with a V. That's good. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
That's how they talk in the stuck-up areas of the world. What do you got? What do you want to leave us with?
We're ending the podcast. This is it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to miss y'all. Okay. We never got to my favorite topic, but
No. I want to get to that. I was actually going to have you sing us out one of these shows. But,
one day.
Yeah. Get your Tony Braxton on.
We're not talking about it.
We're gonna save it for next Sunday.
7 o'clock. Somebody gotta go
it's
chase
7
tail.
o'clock on the dot. I'm in my job.
That's the same song that you totally didn't know what it was in the beginning. Nice and slow. That's the exact same song that I was singing that I started the podcast.
It sounds different when you actually sing
That's
it.
what it sounds crazy.
Like we be adding a little bit.
Yeah, he'd be
And,
like,
you definitely be like,
I gotta change some of the words.
be
right?
adding stuff.
Oh, you be changing the words in it?
Yeah.
That's why I never get it, because I'm like, what is
He
this
be
song?
changing
It's the
stuff.
same word. I use a synonymous word because if I say the same word, you'll know exactly what it is off the top. So instead of saying 7 o'clock, I'd be like, it's 1900 and I'm in my vehicle.
No
with
wonder
no
why
top.
I never know what you're talking about, because I'm like, do I really not know these songs?
It's 1900.
Like literally the TLC song, I literally had to picture the video in my head. I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is.
I couldn't say some words because if I'd have said that word, you'd have known it was off the top.
Okay.
So what do you leave
What
us
I want to
with?
close with is just, hey, don't you press the dim button. Give me time.
Collect
Hey.
them thoughts.
Balls, stroke the shot, work the pipe, follow the grading. Get it over here, buddy. Let's do this.
That's what she's leaving us with. Like,
Amen.
Hey, ladies, wear whatever you want to wear when you outside. If your man ain't okay with it, then that's on him and that's on y'all. Don't you freaking touch the button.
She giving out the wrong information. If you want a man,
bunch of horse out here.
Hey, if you got your man already and that's how he met you and he met you that way and he's okay with it and he's secure and you're secure and y'all relationship is secure, do what you want. Do what you need to do, baby.
We'll let you roam.
Secure.
We'll let you have that.
All my ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out.
My last thought.
Tomatoes, chicken, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, beans, greens, beans, beans, beans.
We out this bitch.